All right, everybody. So welcome back to LowKick MMA. Today we're joined by UFC light heavyweight Modestas Bukauskas as he's preparing to take on Poland's Marcin Prachnio at UFC 304. So first off, you seem in good spirits today. How's preparations going?
Yes, it's going very well, thank you. I'm actually up in Liverpool at the minute in my hotel room, just chilling now after a session in the morning. Yeah, so an addition has been like going up to train with Tom Aspinall and his team. We got guys like Mick Park, and you got guys like Phil DeFries, Ante Delia's here, who's I think he's a two-time PFL
Yeah,
champion. So
he's
we've
one
got
of Crow
like
Cop's proteges, isn't he?
yes, exactly. Yeah. And he's really good, and
Yeah,
like we've had Martin Bude here as well. And all of these guys are over 115 kilo.
yeah,
Like
big
genuinely,
boys.
like now, like obviously training with lighter guys is a completely different feeling. So it's absolutely amazing being able to add that to my training. And yeah, just like I just feel like everything has been fine-tuned a lot better. I've had my training partner from Germany, Sebastian Heil, come and train with me as well. He's a light heavyweight, fighting an octagon. So and I've known him since I was like 22 actually. I met him in Jackson Wink. So everything has been going really well. Like I say, I've been a lot more focused this not just in this camp in particular, but just in general. And yeah, man, it's just now it's just all signs leading towards fight night. I'm just really looking forward to get in there.
Yeah, so like a lot of people obviously notice the Lithuania flag next to your name when you walk out for fights and then hear your accent and think, wait a minute, what's going on here? But it's basically you were born in Lithuania, but for most of your life and fighting career, you have been in England.
Yes,
Um,
correct. Yeah.
and UFC 304 feels like the return of the huge cards for sort of our MMA scene. So, what's it like getting onto a card like that?
Well, I was actually wanting to fight a lot earlier, to be honest with you. I was hoping for about May time, to have one fight before this one and then get on the Manchester card. But luckily my manager had something in the works that he was just trying to get me to, because I haven't fought at home my whole UFC career. If you imagine how many
Yeah,
shows they've done at the
it's
O2 since I've
wild.
been signed, they've done loads, and I've not fought once at home. So obviously I did, last year I went to Australia on 2 weeks' notice. I went to Vegas. I went to Brazil. So I think this was their way of like sort of just saying like, here we go. Now we're getting you back to fight at home. So, listen, I don't mind going to other people's territory and like I say, grabbing a win. But there is something special about fighting on such a special card. 304. You've
Yeah,
got so many like amazing fights here. You got freaking, you know what I mean. You got Leon Edwards. You got Tom Aspinall. You got Paddy. You got like it's a massive card. It's a massive card to be
yeah.
involved in, and I'm just so glad that I've been given that opportunity. And yeah, this is my chance to show my skill set, show my levels, and like I say, kick off the show with a bang.
But see, I was looking up when I first heard I was going to be talking to you. And your first fight was an amateur fight in 2014 at Thorpe Park. Is that
Do you know what? It's funny. Tapology's got all my amateur record wrong. Actually,
right?
Yeah, because I had a lot of fights on WC MMA. I was actually a two-time light heavyweight. Yeah, I was light heavyweight champion
Yeah,
on that promotion, and they had two of my fights. I think on Too Much Talent on there. Maybe I'm not 100%, but my
yeah,
my actual record as an amateur was 7-1.
yeah. So I was going to ask,
Um,
like, what is the big differences from back then and now in the UK MMA scene? Because I'm assuming you've probably fought in some uh, less than pleasant venues and sort of strange
Do you know
places.
what?
Like,
It's funny you say that. I've always fought at a decent, like Dave O'Donnell ran a really good show at WCMMA and UCMMA, which is what I ultimately started my pro career in, or Cage Rage as it was formerly known
yeah,
as. They actually ran a very good show. Yeah, it was a little bit, but like in terms of smoothness and how everything was operated, it was run very well. He gave you a chance to make some decent money. Too Much Talent. I mean, fighting in Fort Park, which was really cool. Again, it was just standard. It's standard what you'd expect from an amateur show. you know, from back in the, and you know what, I think obviously I see some how the amateur rows are shunned now is they just run with a lot more, I guess you could say, like a lot better flow. Like, do you know what I mean? Like now everyone knows
Yeah,
exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how everything works, and everything's just run a lot more smoothly now on amateur. But I mean, back then, I mean, honestly, I mean, I thought it was great. Do you know what I mean? Especially like I say, in that dome bit, like in Fort Park. You know what I mean? Who would have thought you'd put up a cage and you know put some seats and some spectators that they'll be able to run such a good show like that. But I've had some really good experiences there. And yeah, man, like I say, I don't think really much has changed, but now like the prominent names of or prominent promotions in the game have changed. Like back then, I fought on the prominent promotions for back then, but now
yeah,
obviously, you know, start like Fight Star Championship, Cage Warriors Academy. You know, those are like sort of the main sort of
yeah,
shows,
regional
and
places.
obviously some have dropped off as well.
Yeah, so I was what's next? Yeah, so your division obviously center stage the other night there, UFC 303. What did you make of the fight? And
Yeah. I mean, Yuri's got a very crazy style. He's not got like a very orthodox style. You know, Alex Pereira's obviously got a fucking dynamite in his hands and clearly dynamite in his legs as well. But you know, that check left hook, it seems to be the downfall for everyone that fights Alex Pereira. No one's managed to seem to figure out that puzzle. I was very interested in watching that fight, but I think Yuri was badly hurt by that left hook. I think already going into the second, it was already the beginning of the end, and then it was just a case of just timing and getting ready to throw something off. And you know, he kept dropping his right hand, and then ultimately that led to his defeat. Because he kept his hand so low and that kick came up so fast, he didn't have any time to react. It just boom, just you know what I mean. So yeah, it was a very good kick, very good setup, very good timing, and obviously he had his number pretty much, especially with that, like I say, that check left hook. So, yeah, man, it's created more excitement within the division, which is amazing, which means more eyes will be on the division, and yeah, like I say, I'm hoping to bring more eyes on the division once I fight on UFC 304, and you know, bring some life back into it. So you could say that Alex Pereira has done that. So now it's time to add some more faces into this game to bring some life into it. You know what I mean?
but one of the interesting things about your fighting style is it's not that common to see a switch stance fighter
Yeah.
a lot of the time. So I was wondering more from a martial arts standpoint, is that something you sort of came into naturally, or was it something you taught yourself?
Well, you have to develop it. Do you know what? The Khalil fight actually made me change a lot of things. So having my knee blasted against him actually couldn't have been a better thing to happen to me actually because it helped evolve and change my game. And it made me really emphasize on the fact of switching stance. I was already trying to do it, but it's very hard when you're from one stance, like you're prominent and but now the game's just completely changing. Do you know what I mean? Like now, like you see everyone's doing it, but if you know if you don't catch up, you're going to be left behind. Do you know what I'm saying? And now I can actually box from both stances, whereas before I wasn't able to do that. You know, I wouldn't say it's something that came naturally, but it's something that I just worked on extensively. So it's just something that, again, once you do it enough times, then it becomes, you know, not so bad, I guess you could say.
But yeah, 'cause I noticed in the gym, a lot of the newer guys, when they're trying to switch stance a lot, they'll be told, stop. You're making yourself sort of unsteady on your feet and leaving yourself open to just sort of get your legs kicked out from under you and stuff. So yeah, I was just curious to find out like what are some of the advantages and disadvantages you've found in like sort of implementing it into your game.
Yeah. What with switching stances in particular, or
Yeah, well, even like yeah, switching stances and sort of your boxing from both
yeah.
stances.
Well, I mean, like, look, it just opens up different areas because there's so many different intricacies of, you know, fighting a guy that's the same lead leg foot, and then fighting a guy that's got the opposite lead leg foot. It's like you're going to throw different attacks. You're going to move your head in different ways. You're going to parry the hand in different ways. There's so many different intricacies that playing both stances is going to help you to overcome your opponent, because you're not just feeding him one sort of one track way of it. Just basically gives more options for attack and more options for defense. And it's just about and it also helps you to deal with your opponent's strengths and weaknesses a bit better, because it means that you can play towards their weaknesses because you have another little trap card ready to go. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way I like to look at it anyways.
So moving on to your fight at 304, you're fighting Marcin Prachnio, who, I mean, if I was to make a prediction for the people watching, there's a good chance this will be a fun stand-up war. I think both of you guys enjoy a knockout or two. What are you expecting out of Marcin here?
Well, I mean, look, he's a very good fighter. He's very experienced, so he's going to use his experience in the cage. He's going to use his movement, he's use his footwork. Listen, they can throw whatever they want out there. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a fight. You just got to turn up and do the job on the night. I can expect it to be explosive. You know, a lot of speed, a lot of footwork. And yeah, man, like I say, it's going to be an exciting fight just because both of us, we know how to throw some crazy shit. So you put those two in a box and, you know, you rustle it together, you got yourself a good fight.
Is there sort of any particular area where you see yourself having the advantage in this one?
Yeah, just everywhere, mate.
Everywhere.
Look, at the end of the day, I feel like I have the advantage everywhere. I'm a well-rounded fighter. I've been working on a hell of a lot of things. You know, I feel like I've evolved, and I'm keen to go and show it. So, you know, at the end of the day, I know he's very good. I know he's very dangerous. I know he's also very talented. But I'm here to show that I'm the best.
And I do this with every fighter I interview. I have to get 3 questions. First, who's your favourite fighter of all time?
Favorite fighter of all time? It's got to be Jon Jones.
Jon Jones. Why?
Yeah. Because, well, I've actually ended up training with him when I was 22.
Oh, really?
22 years old, yeah, for about 10 weeks. Got to know him a little bit. And I remember following his career from early, and just the amount of things that he was able to do from such a young age, like just you know what I mean? He, you know, for the longest time, he's always been like my favorite fighter.
It's always the clip of him choking out Machida. That's always the one that I look back on, and it's like it really was the best. Like
it's a good one.
It's a
good one.
Second part of this one, what's your favourite fight of all time? This can be a fight you've been in or just a fight to watch.
Favorite fight? Do you know what? Yeah, I don't really have one that. Again, it's got to be the Jon Jones one. Jon Jones v Gustafsson. That's one that stands out in my head. Just because it's a very close fight. Very, you know, like could have went either way, back and forth. Yeah, really good fight. That actually, and Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier in the Apex. That was a really good fight. So
a lot of people forget about that one too, because it was one of the Apex fights.
There's a couple of bangers, but yeah. That Hooker one, that was, especially the aftermath after it. Yeah, it was crazy. Those guys literally left it all on the line.
And the last one, I don't think there's much point in asking this one. Who's the greatest of all time?
We know it's Jon Jones. We know it's Jon Jones.
So thanks for your time, Modestas. That's all I've got for you today. He's going to be fighting in UFC 304. That's on the 27th of July.
Yeah.
Follow all the socials. They'll be down in the description.
Amazing. Thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate it. It was really nice talking to you, yeah?
You too. Speak again soon.
Nice one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.